Hello, my name is Cheryl Meyer, otherwise known as Cheryl M Health Muse, and I am a health coach. I want to welcome you to my podcast, It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. This is a weekly show that will share lifestyle changes that you can make to support your health yourself. Why do I want to share this information with you? 7 years ago, after being a business owner for 20 years, I woke up one morning in horrific pain where every bone and every joint in my body hurt. I went to the doctor, she ran lots of tests, and then she ran some more, and then she ran some more, and finally she called me and announced she was going to give me steroids, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with me and I should seek therapy. I knew something was wrong, I hurt. So she told me I would be on steroids for the rest of my life, and I refused that I was going to have a life of pain and pills. So why was I going to take steroids if there was nothing wrong with me? So I dug in and started researching, and I turned my business over to my staff. I found a functional doctor who confirmed that I had autoimmune disease by making a series of significant lifestyle changes that I could do for myself. 5 years later, I had returned to relative health. The best part is that I am now 70, and I feel better now than I did when I was 50. I no longer hurt, which is huge. I will always have autoimmune disease, but losing the pain has been amazing. I went back to school at 67 and became a health coach because I want to share everything that I learned with others. And I wrote a book called It Feels Good to Feel Good, Learn to Eliminate Toxins, Reduce Inflammation, and Feel Great Again, as the manual I wished that I had had when I got sick, and my book has won 13 awards. So whether you want to future-proof your health and grow old with dignity and grace without dementia and chronic pain and disease, which you don't need to get, or whether or not you already have a chronic condition like autoimmune disease or cancer or heart disease, and you want to learn about what things you can do to improve your long-term health, or whether you want to improve the health of your families and raise healthy children, because 53% of our children have a chronic condition, I look forward to sharing all this information with you. I will tell you, it truly does feel good to feel good, so let's get started. I look forward to having you join me here every week, and I want to give you hope that if you have chronic pain or chronic disease, you can make changes that will improve your health. And if you don't want to go there, you're going to be fine if you listen to the show and put these things into work. I want to give you information so that you can grow old and have a better tomorrow. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Hello, welcome to another edition of It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. And I want to start off by saying Happy New Year. This is my first show for 2021. And what I want to talk about are a couple of things that people don't know and don't realize how important they are. And the first one is that beauty is actually an inside job, and that what happens in our gut is what shows up on our skin in terms of rashes, acne, psoriasis, and eczema. And then I want to talk about suntan lotions because they are incredibly toxic. So I want to talk about what to do about that. And then I want to finish up with how to lose weight without dieting. Because if you want to lose weight and you want to keep it off, I have a completely different approach. I never liked to count calories. I never liked to collect points and utilize points. It was too confusing, and it took my mind off of what I really wanted to do, which was achieve goals in my business and spend time with my friends and family. So there is a much easier way to lose weight, and all of these subjects connect together. And if you start off the new year cognizant that all these things impact your body, then you could be well on your way to meet your New Year's resolutions. So let's start with why beauty is an inside job. Our skin reflects what we are eating. and how many toxins are in the food we're putting into our body. Leaky gut, which is where inflammation starts, is dramatically affected by toxins. But our largest organ is our skin. And so what we put on our skin makes a huge difference if it's toxic in terms of what's going on in our body. And our skin is one of our areas that we actually detox things out. So we certainly don't want to be putting toxins in through our skin. There are only 3 places to get rid of toxins: breathing, excretion, and then through our skin. And our skin is a two-way street. It goes in and it comes out. So you want to always make sure that your skin is not blocked, but you also don't want to be putting things that are toxic on your skin. And I have said before, if you've been watching my podcast, you are what you eat. And that is even more important when it comes to skin. You can dramatically impact the quality of your skin by what you're eating and what you put in your body. Beauty begins in the gut. One of my very first clients, when I started out as a health coach, had psoriasis. He'd had it his whole life. It had driven him nuts. He'd been seeing a doctor forever and had used every pharmaceutical known to man to try to control the psoriasis that he had all over his body. So he came to me and he said, I know you're not going to cure it, but if we could just improve it, that would be like too fantastic for words. So the first thing I did was I asked him if he would be willing to eat the rainbow. And when I go through the first part of this, I'm going to go through the colors and what each color does for the body, because even though I had a whole show on eating the rainbow, I want you to understand how important this is. But my client agreed that he would change how he ate, that he would start eating organic produce, both fruits and vegetables, that he would try to eat all of the colors of the rainbow fairly close together, and he would give that a shot for several weeks to see how his body responded. So that was where we started. He also agreed to eat organic. Now, why is that important? Because if you're not eating organic, you're getting an unhealthy dose of pesticides and herbicides with every bite. And again, they're toxins, so they've got to get out of your body somewhere. They're going to either go through your liver and then come out one way, or they're going to come out of your skin or out of your kidneys. They're going to be excrement that comes out of you, or they're going to be things that you're going to want to try to get out of your body. If those toxins are coming out of your skin, that's causing problems. He agreed to give up sugar. Sugar is very toxic and it dramatically impacts your skin. So these were all important things, and we started off, we talked about it, we did a grocery store trip, we read labels, and then he was off and running. By the end of 6 weeks, his skin had dramatically improved, much more than any pharmaceutical had ever done for him, and it was simply because he had cleaned up what he was eating. There's something new that was discovered last year. A book was written about it, and I think a new Nobel Prize was awarded about it. At the end of our tips of our DNA is something called telomeres. And if we are eating toxins or we are eating too much sugar, it's dramatically impacting the telomeres at the end of our DNA, and the telomeres control aging. So if you're eating clean and you're not impacting our telomeres, and you're not eating toxic, which are dramatically impacting our DNA and our telomeres, our body has a much better chance to be beautiful, to show beautiful, and to be healthy. So this is all very important. So you want to stop eating both real and fake sugars, which means ditch the Coke, ditch the Diet Coke. They're like eating gut rot anyway, so you don't need those because they're also coming out of your skin. And then you want to eat all the lush vegetables to make your skin look healthy. You want to make sure that you're not eating genetically modified foods. If you go to my website, I actually have the card of what produce is genetically modified, but some of it's kind of shocking. Any kind of cane sugar is genetically modified. 95% of soy is genetically modified. Canola oil is genetically modified. And that means those crops are actually grown with Bt toxin right in them. So you can't wash it off because it's coming up through the root system. And Bt toxin is in GMO plants and vegetables because when a bug bites it, it blows up his stomach so he can't destroy the crop. Well, when your gut bacteria gets those GMOs in it, it's blowing up your gut bacteria too. And you need your good gut bacteria, so that's not a good thing. So you don't want the Bt toxin from the GMOs. You can get the list of what they are right on a card on my website. You want to be eating organic, especially if it's on the dirty side of the Dirty Dozen. Again, the dirty side of the Dirty Dozen card is on my website. You can go there and look it up, or you can actually Google what is genetically modified, or you can Google what are the Dirty Dozen, and then make sure that those are the things that you buy organic because you don't want an unhealthy dose of toxins with your food. Remember, your skin is your largest organ. So what you put in your body is what your skin becomes because it's going to be doing the detox process for you. Fake sugars are bad because they're neurotoxins. And they're either one of two things. The pink and the blue packet are neurotoxins. The yellow packet interrupts your gut bacteria. So just like GMOs, they're going to make it so you cannot properly digest your food. And when you cannot properly digest your food, something happens called leaky gut, where your food doesn't come down to the right sizes. It's pushing up against the wall of your gut, which is only one cell thick, and then it starts leaking into your blood system and going over to your liver and creating inflammation. Psoriasis, eczema, and acne are often part of inflammation. All three of those are actually autoimmune diseases. So the same mechanism for somebody who has MS or lupus or arthritis, the same mechanism is causing the psoriasis and the eczema on the skin. So what you eat is critical to how healthy your skin is. All of those unhealthy chemicals need to be eliminated. Now, the next place where there are unbelievable amounts of unhealthy chemicals are in our cosmetics and our personal care products. This one surprised me. When I first started researching toxins, because I had to do something if I was going to get my own autoimmune disease under control, I was using an expensive French cosmetic, and when I looked it up in the giant database in the sky, which is ewg.org, my French cosmetics were a 9 on a 10-point scale, which means they were at the top of the scale for having poison in them. But you would think that our government is regulating our cosmetics, and that's not true. The cosmetic companies are allowed to regulate themselves. And so they might have done some testing on them, but generally they are considered to be grass, generally considered to be safe, because they haven't taken the study far enough to find out just how damaging some of those chemicals are. So I'm going to give you a list of some of the chemicals that you want to avoid, but it's really important that you look up your skincare products and your cosmetics, and whenever possible, use organic, because that is also dramatically what you're putting on your skin is dramatically impacting how your skin reacts. And you don't want eczema, psoriasis, or acne, and you don't want these toxic chemicals going through your body, through your skin and into your body. So other things that impact your skin are stress and lack of sleep. I talk a lot on this podcast about using the Dr. Andrew Weil 478 breathing exercise. I actually have a whole chapter on stress in both of my books, and I published a little desktop book of stress exercises because stress all of us have stress. Not ever going to get rid of it altogether, but you don't need to have chronic or toxic stress. So the key is to take the top off the stress before it crosses over into toxic stress. And these breathing exercises are one way to reset your parasympathetic nervous system and to keep your stress level below the line so that it doesn't become toxic to your gut and your entire body. And if you're dealing with a whole lot of stress, you're going to see it in your skin. You're going to see it in your whole body. You're going to get inflamed. And inflammation is at the core of most of our chronic diseases. So this is really important. Now, have you ever had a really bad night's sleep and gotten up and looked in the mirror? You look kind of gray. Well, not getting a good night's sleep actually does show up on our face and on our skin, and it does detract from our beauty. So there's a new book out called Why We Sleep. It was done by a very important scientific group at UC Berkeley, and they declare that getting 7 continuous hours of sleep is even more important than controlling your chronic sleep in terms of inflammation, chronic disease, and how your body operates. And if you're not getting a good night's sleep, one of the first places that you're going to see it is in your skin. The other thing that happens when you are not taking care of your gut and when you have leaky gut and you're eating toxins is that you are impacting the whole process of your leaky gut. So toxins, parasites, sugar, stress, lack of sleep, all of those things create leaky gut, and leaky gut is the next step to inflammation and then chronic illness. So it's important that you pay attention to all of that. A healthy gut leads to healthy skin and to a healthy body. It also leads to beautiful, healthy hair, healthy nails, a healthy attitude. Believe it or not, your serotonin is created in your gut, and serotonin is our feel-good hormone. So you want to make sure that you're taking extra special care of your gut in terms of what you're putting in there, because if you're depressed, that's also going to show up all over your body, and it's going to cause inflammation and unhealthy skin and an unhealthy attitude. Skin conditions are directly caused from inflammation. It also sometimes is a direct response to conventional dairy. Now, why conventional dairy? Our cows, so that they constantly are creating milk, are kept continually pregnant. And so we're mucking around with their hormones and we're giving them synthetic hormones. And by giving them synthetic hormones, when we drink the milk, we're giving ourselves synthetic hormones. And they have a toxic response in our body. And we don't need more stress hormones. We're making plenty of those on ourselves. And we don't need hormones that create the animal to lactate, because those are mucking around with our own hormones. So if you're going to drink milk, you want to make sure, number one, that it's full fat. You don't want it to be low fat or non-fat, because they spray some of the milk to fill it back up again. Have you ever seen that non-fat milk when it's that icky sort of watery gray looking stuff? Well, the way they get it back to white is they spray some of the milk back and put it into the milk, and that stuff actually clumps and becomes cholesterol in your arteries. So if you're going to drink dairy, it should be organic and preferably from a farm close to you where you can actually visit the cows and visit the farmer and know how he's taking care of his cows, so that you know they're not overly stressed and you know how the animals are being taken care of. All of that is important, because how your animal is treated and what your animal has put into him impacts what's going into you. Now let's talk about the things that can be put on the skin that are blocking your skin, that are causing all kinds of trouble. These are ingredients in beauty care products that you want to avoid. Alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is very drying and irritating to the skin, and it strips your skin's moisture and its natural immune barrier. So you want to be careful with that because once that's gone, you're much more vulnerable to bacteria and molds and viruses. And it's made from propylene, which is a petroleum derivative and is found in many skin and hair products. And fragrance is generally synthetic. So if they've made the product smell good, it's probably not good for you because synthetic fragrances and smells are also very toxic. So you don't want to be spraying stuff in your house. You don't even want to be spraying the one that takes the smells out of your house because that also is a toxic aerosol, and it's an aerosol. So it's also going into your lungs. And right now with COVID, we really want to protect our lungs as well as our skin. So that's all important. Antibacterial washes are killing not only the bad bacteria on our skin, but the good bacteria on our skin. And the microbiome of our skin is really important. So you don't want to be using anything with alcohol in it, or you want to be careful how much you're using those hand things that are killing the germs because they're killing the good stuff as well as the bad stuff. So there are some that are less toxic. So those are the ones that I would go towards. But the best thing you can do is wash your hands in pure soap and hot water. That does better than any of those other things you're putting on your hands to kill the bugs. Okay, the next one up is called DEA or MEA or TEA, which are all hormone disrupting chemicals that are put in cosmetics. They form cancer-causing nitrates, and those chemicals are already restricted in Europe, but they're not restricted here. So you need to learn to read the ingredients on your products and make sure that your products don't have these in it. Now, what I do is I look up any product in the ewg.org database before I buy it, because I want to know what they're rating it before I start trying to use it on my skin, and I trust them. They have done deep scientific research into everything that's in their database. Your product might not be in there, but all of the ingredients are in there, so you can still look things up. And somebody just suggested to me, and they're right, you start with the last ingredient on the bottle, because if that's toxic, trust me, there's other things in there that are toxic too. And the last thing is the thing that's in there in the least quantity. So you don't have to look up every ingredient. You can make decisions off of the little ingredients down at the bottom of the list and then choose to not buy it and put it on your skin. DEA-based detergents cause a major increase in liver and kidney cancer. So it's really important that you stay away from all of this. The next one up is DMDM, hydantoin, and urea. They're two preservatives that release formaldehyde. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be putting formaldehyde on my outer skin, because formaldehyde is what they use to preserve bodies before they bury them in the ground. So you don't want to be using those. They cause joint pain, they cause skin reaction, they cause allergies, they cause depression, they cause headaches, they cause chest pains. Even ear infections come from DMDM. So you want to stay away from that. And exposure also can irritate your respiratory system, which we just talked about. You don't want to do because you want to have very healthy lungs, especially right now, so that your immune system is working properly. Other possible side effects, weakening the immune system and cancer. So you don't want any of those in your product. FD&C color pigmentation is not so hot for you. Synthetic colors made from coal tar containing heavy metal salts that deposit toxins right onto the skin, causing skin sensitivity and irritation. Absorption of certain colors can cause depletion of oxygen in the body and even death. Animal studies have shown that almost all of the FD&C color pigments create cancer. So stay away from those. And then the last one on my list here in this section are the synthetic fragrances. What do I use in my house to make it smell good? I use real essential oils in a diffuser, and it's lovely. It makes your whole house smell wonderful, and they don't poison you while they're doing it. Okay, alternative things are mineral oil, which again is a petroleum byproduct, and you don't want to be using it because it's not pure enough to be being used on your skin. And the other thing that petroleum products do, mineral oil as well as Vaseline and other petroleum products, is they block your pores so that things can't come out. And you remember, this is an important detox organ, so you don't want to be blocking things from coming out of your skin. It slows down your skin function, it slows down skin development, cell development, and it causes premature aging. And I don't know about you, but I'd sort of like to keep my skin young and supple. And I want to point out to you, I'm 71. Look at my skin. This stuff that I'm sharing with you works. If you want to grow old and have beautiful skin, then pay attention to this. And if you want this whole list, this is a whole chapter in my second book, Feeling Good, Living Low Toxin. So you can have that. You can refer to it as often as you want if you buy my book. Okay, next up, polyethyl glycol, PEG, carcinogenic, petroleum-based ingredient that can alter and reduce your skin's natural moisture factor. Hard to believe all this stuff is in cosmetics that we buy, isn't it? This increases the appearance of aging and leaves you more vulnerable to bacteria. Being vulnerable to bacteria creates acne, so you don't want that. It adjusts the melting point and thickens products, and it's used in cleansers, dissolve oil and grease. The next one is propylene glycol and butylene glycol, which are gaseous hydrocarbons in which a liquid state acts as a surfactant, wetting oleagens and solvents. They easily penetrate the skin and weaken your protein and your cell structure. They're commonly used to make extracts from herbs, and PG is strong enough to remove barnacles from boats. So you sure don't want to be using that on your skin and your cosmetics. The EPA considers PG so toxic, it requires workers to wear protective gloves, clothing, and goggles, and dispose of any of the solutions by burying them in the ground. So if it's in your cosmetics, that's not a good thing. It penetrates the skin so quickly, the EPA warns against skin contact to prevent consequences to your brain, your liver, and to your kidneys. There isn't a warning label on products such as stick deodorants, where the concentration is greater than most industrial applications. Alternatives are water extracted herbs and therapeutic essential oils. You want real essential oils if you're using essential oils. I don't make any money for saying this. I'm going to tell you what I've chosen to use are Rocky Mountain essential oils because I like their quality and I'm not paying for a multi-layer structure like paying for 10 people with one product. Okay, this one's a biggie, sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium laureth sulfate. Check your shampoos. It's in everything. I was shocked. For 25 years, I had an itchy head, and I consider shampoos to be in your cosmetics or your personal care products. Well, guess what? When I stopped buying products that had sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium laureth sulfate in them, my head doesn't itch anymore because I'm not getting a healthy dose of toxins on my scalp while I wash my hair. Detergents and solvents that pose serious health threats. Used in car washes, garage floor cleaners, engine degreasers, and 90% of personal care products that foam. So beware of these ingredients that are in your shampoos and things. Animals exposed to SLS experience eye damage, depression, labored breathing, diarrhea, severe skin irritation, and even death. And young eyes might not even properly develop if they're exposed to enough of these chemicals through their shampoos. They also could be carcinogenic. Your body may retain SLS for up to 5 years, during which time it will either enter and maintain residual levels in the heart, liver, lungs, and the brain. So be very careful of these things. I brought the line that I now use as my shampoo. I have 2 shampoos that I love, and I also use their hair conditioner, and I use their skin SPF, so I'm going to play a little show and tell at the end of this. The next one is triclosan, a synthetic antibacterial ingredient. Now, triclosans are what's in that hand stuff that you're putting on to kill bacteria. And so you want to be careful because it's not good for you. It's killing the good and the bad bacteria when you do that. I actually buy little tiny bottles of soap from a company called Soapwalla. She has MS, so it was self-defense. She created products. I use her underarm deodorant too because they are completely clean, and she created them because she was having so many problems with these products that she was using on her body. So I buy little tiny bottles of soap and a little squirt bottle that have real essential oils in them, and I put them in my pocket, and whenever I'm out at a bathroom that is public, I don't use their soap because my hands break out in a rash because I'm so sensitive to them. I use these little bottles of Soapwalla, and they work like a charm. They bubble up, they clean my hands, they kill whatever is on my skin, and I'm not getting a healthy dose of toxins with it while I'm doing it. So be careful of triclosan. Triclosan are hormone disruptors. And so hormone disruptors that also can cause cancer. Its manufacturing process produces dioxin, which interrupts your hormones with a toxic process, and it's measured in parts per trillion, and that's only 1 drop in a 300 Olympic-sized swimming pool. So it doesn't take very much to poison you. It also can decrease fertility. If you're a mom who's trying to get pregnant, stay away from the triclosan because it's keeping you from having balanced hormones and getting pregnant. It also could impact your sexual function, and it can impact your brain and create dementia. All good reasons to stay away from that. And then when it's in your body, it gets stored in your body fat. It can accumulate to toxic levels, damaging your liver, your kidneys, and your lungs. It can even go so bad to create paralysis if you have tons of it in your body. So it's best to just avoid it altogether. Other common toxic ingredients include aluminum, phthalates, DEET, which is in a lot of bug sprays, dioxins, formaldehyde, PABA, P-A-B-A, parabens, which is a wax, and you want to be also careful with wax paper because that on your food goes into your body and causes all kinds of issues. Toluene, camphor, and then petroleum jelly products. The problem with petroleum jelly is, again, it clogs your cells so that they can't let anything out. And petroleum jelly, no matter how pure it is, it's got toxins in it and it's got little things in it that are going to cause issues because it's a petroleum jelly, it's a petroleum product. The next thing to be careful of is face powders because face powders get in such tiny little sizes. You can inhale them and then they cause problems for your lungs. So depending upon the size of the molecules in your powder, if they're small enough, they can cause serious inhalation risks. Talcum powder, mica, titanium dioxide, zinc oxide are all used in face powders and can be small enough to get into areas in the lungs where they cause trouble. Talcum powder has additional health hazards, and you probably are aware that Johnson & Johnson has been sued forever for talcum powder and baby powder because all kinds of women got cancer from using it. So you want to stay away from face powders that have those chemicals in them as well. So be careful with your beauty products, because just because you're able to buy them doesn't mean that they have been protected, and that the government is protecting you. So be aware. The key to healthy skin and beauty is in eating organic fruits and vegetables of all the colors of the rainbow. That becomes really important. So you want to eat, now there's something that happens when you eat all the colors together, because all the colors, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what each color does for the body, but you want to eat them close together, because when they get together, there's a synergy that happens where they're just happy to be in your body, and then that creates healthy skin and a healthy body that's disease-free. When it comes to food, crowd out with color rather than with restrictive rules. And we'll talk about that again when I get to losing weight. Color is sustainable, creative, engaging, and rules are restrictive, demanding, and exhaustive. So if you're struggling with inflammation and that's impacting how you look, or if you've got autoimmune diseases of psoriasis or eczema or acne, eating all the colors of the rainbow will help you cure that from the inside out. It will allow you to heal your gut wall, and it will allow your body to heal itself. And eating all the colors of the rainbow will lower your inflammation throughout your entire body, and your skin is part of that. So it's very important. I just made a note, don't forget the puffy and gray are not a good look. So you want to be very careful. And I want you to cook. We have gotten so into convenience foods that I want you to cook, because then you can control what you're putting in your body. Cooking is so important. You can buy all the colors of the rainbow, you can cook them, or you can eat them raw. I actually recommend you eat half of them raw and half of them cooked, because the different types of preparing them before you eat them causes a different reaction in your body, and you need some of both. But you can take any recipe and make it healthy, but you want to make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. And sugar becomes an issue, because if you're addicted to sugar, and it is as addictive as cocaine, then your body is craving it all the time, and you have lost your food freedom. So you're eating more sugar than you ought to be eating, and that causes problems on a variety of levels. It's toxic to your body. It's genetically modified, which means it's putting Bt toxin into your body. And even agave impacts your liver worse than any other sugar. So there's all kinds of healthy things that have agave in them. Don't believe it. Agave is not good for you. So what you want to be doing is eliminating as much of that sugar as possible. You're probably going to have to go through a sugar detox. And my last 2 episodes, you can go back and listen to them, are about how you do that. You can do a sugar detox. You can withdraw from the sugar, come out the other end, and the advantage of that is multitude. Not only do you have food freedom, because you're not getting called to the kitchen to eat the rest of that whole batch of cookies that you made, but you're also not eating the sugar, which is toxic to every organ in your body. And sugar impacts our skin and ages it, and it's very hard on our gut. You also want to stop eating so much processed food and fast food. The way to know if you could eat a processed food is, do you know what every ingredient on that box is? Because if you don't know what every ingredient on that box is, your body doesn't know what it is either. Not only does that include the words that you cannot pronounce, or the words that you don't know what they are, but it includes things like natural flavors. I don't know what natural flavors are to you. Well, believe it or not, MSG is now in processed food under 39 different names, and a lot of times the catch-all is natural flavors. And we all know that MSG is not good for us and that it's a neurotoxin, but they're hiding it under that natural flavorings. So if you don't know what it is, you don't eat it, because it's probably not going to do something good to your body. And what you put in your body is reflected in your beauty. My rule of thumb is to read labels always. If you can't pronounce it or you don't know what it is, you put it back on the shelf. and your body's going to appreciate this. Anxious, negative thoughts also impact your gut and cause inflammation, so you have to watch your anxiety level. If you're having a lot of thoughts that are defeating you or talking negative trash talk to you, your brain does not always tell you the truth. So you need to allow your inner champion to come out and crowd out that inner critic, because that's impacting your beauty as well. So you don't want what's known in the industry as ants, anxious negative thoughts, because they're as annoying as those ants that invade your kitchen. And what will happen if you're going through serious worry or ants is you're probably going to binge on simple carbohydrates, which are the things with white flour and the things that are sweet. And all of that's going to cause you a crash and isn't worth the increased calories and the increased weight gain. And then I have a quote that I loved, which is from John Mayer, the singer. If you're pretty, you're pretty, but the only way to be beautiful is to be loving. So otherwise, it's just congratulations on your face. So remember that. How you are, how you treat, people will always remember how you treat them. That's also part of your beauty. How you take care of others in your world, how kind you are, how much you smile, all of that is part of your beauty. So it's important. So my total philosophy about beauty is be passionate, intelligent, witty, klutzy, interesting, funny, adventurous, crazy, talented, be loving, kind, compassionate, honest, ethical, present, engaged, magical, live with purpose, be daring, be spiritual, be authentic always, be you. You're quite beautiful the way you are. And whatever your definition is of amazing, that's what will make you the most beautiful. So the bottom line is that beauty is an inside job. It's the beauty of a life well lived, and it's the beauty of impacting beautifully everyone who's close to you in your circle and your spectrum. So then I want to move on to the fact that there are 2 apps that you can put on your telephone that will help you identify what products you should buy and what products you absolutely should not buy. One is EWG, again, EWG, the Environmental Working Group.org, and they have an app called Healthy Living, and their Skin Deep app is now part of that app. You put it on your phone, you scan the product, and it will give you a rating in terms of how toxic it is. Makes it a lot easier than looking everything up, so make sure that you get that app on your smartphone, whether it's an Apple phone or it's the other kind of phone. And then the other app I just discovered, and it's called Think Dirty. And again, you scan the product and it'll tell you how toxic it is. Makes it so much easier to know what you should and shouldn't buy. But you should look up everything in your life before you use it, because toxins will impact everything that goes on and it shows up on your body. Okay, next I want to talk a little more in depth about why eating all the colors of the rainbow are important to your overall health and in the long run, even to your weight. I always hated to diet because I don't like counting, and I don't want to be thinking about my food all the time. So if you have to count something, don't count calories, count toxins. Count toxic chemicals, because those will impact your weight much faster, and your skin and your body function and your health much faster than counting calories will. If you eat mostly plant food, you don't need to be counting calories, because you're eating an alkaline diet and you're not eating tons of calories because you're eating plant food, so you're getting the maximum amount of nutrition for the fewest amount of calories. All the calories come in when you're eating a ton of processed food and fast food, because you're eating, those have tons of hidden sugar, hidden salt, MSG, which causes you to gain weight and impacts your skin and your brain. it all those things add up, so you don't want to be eating that because that's causing havoc in your body. And your body will respond positively when you eliminate this stuff and you start eating all the colors of the rainbow. Why is this important? All the colors of live foods have gifts for the body. Research shows that different colors are good for different conditions in the body. There are variations of nutrients in each of the colors. This is something that most people don't know. The typical diet has more than 25,000 bioactive food components. Phytochemicals, often referred to as phytonutrients, are found in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, beans, herbs, spices, nuts, and seeds, and are classified according to their chemical structures and functional properties. But you could probably eat too many nuts. But generally, if you're sticking with plant foods, you're not going to eat too much, so you're not going to need to be counting calories to lose weight. When your body comes back into balance, it's going to lose the weight on its own. Each of the colors in fruits and vegetables are caused by specific phytonutrients. That's what makes them the color that they are. And natural chemicals help the plant itself protect itself from germs and bugs and the sun's harmful rays, and then it also is beneficial to us. Each color indicates that there's an abundance of a specific phytonutrient in it, and eating all the colors of the rainbow creates a varied population of healthy gut bacteria. You know you want a healthy gut because you want to digest your food properly, because in the end that's going to keep a good gut wall, which means that you're not going to be leaking stuff into your blood, which means you're not going to be struggling with a lot of inflammation. Specific foods, not just diet, have a huge influence on your microbiome. Eat as close to the farm as possible. We go on Saturday mornings to our local farmers market because those things were just picked that morning, so all of the nutrients in those vegetables and fruits are prime. They haven't diminished over time. So it's right from the farm to the table to our mouth and to our gut. So we're getting quality, high quality ingredients that are going into our bodies. And we're getting the best gift that that food has to offer. Variety is the key of the different phytochemicals working together, and eating all the colors is what actually will then lower your inflammation, which will then prevent all your chronic diseases, which includes psoriasis, eczema, and acne. Eating all the colors of the rainbows neutralizes free radicals and lowers oxidative stress. What does that mean? It means that it's going to protect you against getting cancer somewhat, which is also important. The healthier you eat, the stronger your immune system is to protect you from any of these outside influences. Diversity is key. Now, these statistics are pretty eye-opening. 69% of Americans don't eat enough green. 78% of Americans don't eat enough red. 86% of Americans don't eat enough white. 88% of Americans don't eat enough purple and blue. And 79% of Americans don't eat enough yellow and orange. Now, why is this important? Red foods, which 79% of us don't eat enough red foods, they actually have phytochemicals in them that are good for the skin. Good skin and skin diseases are an inside job, and eating red will help you with your eczema, your psoriasis, and your acne. So red is very important. It also slows aging to the skin. The next one is orange. Orange encourages collagen production. Skin has a lot of collagen, so that's important for your bones and your skin. So you want to be eating red and orange for the collagen so that you stay young and youthful looking. Yellow protects the skin from the sun and pollution. So you want to be eating the yellow because that's important if for you to maintain your beauty. It does lots of other things. I just want to highlight the stuff that impacts what we've been talking about. Yellow also promotes collagen, which protects your skin and your joints. Green is very heart healthy, but it's important for detoxification. And remember, your skin is a detox organ. So you want to eat a lot of green so that your skin is very healthy as a two-way street with detoxification. Aquamarine foods. Now this is the one I have the hardest time getting in my body because most aquamarine foods are sea vegetables. And so they're a little harder to get. When we go eat sushi, the outer green skin is a sea vegetable. So that's good. I do get that then. But there are a whole, I take chlorella now because that's good for my skin and that's good for my body. It's high in iodine, which keeps me on a level that's very healthy. Chlorella is anti-cancer, heavy metal and toxin removal, and minerals rich. It's also really good for your liver, and your liver has to be healthy so that it can get rid of the poisons that are in your body. That's your key detoxification organ. Dulce is loaded with a chewy texture, and it's a reddish brown color that's loaded with nutritional benefits, that is high in vitamin C, which is good for your skin, and 30% of a daily allowance of iron, which is important. It also can make a very delicious snack, so don't think that you shouldn't be eating it. I want you to experiment with some of the sea vegetables. Nori is the wrapping on the sushi, and it is loaded with folate, which is important for detoxification, vitamin C, all the B vitamins, iodine, vitamin E, iron, zinc, calcium, and omega-3. And then sea lettuce, which kind of looks like traditional lettuce, but it has a much stronger seafood sort of odor and taste, can crumple up and be put on salads for a little extra flavor. The gifts of sea vegetables is if you eat them on a regular basis, they'll help you lose weight, which is kind of important. They fight the effects of aging, and they improve your hair, your skin, and your nails, and they have excellent detox properties, removing toxins from your skin and radioactive elements from your body. Purple and blue. People say to me, where am I going to get purple and blue? I get the majority of my purple and blue from purple cabbage. I really love to make purple cabbage slaw, and you can actually buy it at the grocery store already shredded, so you just have to mix it. I mix it with a soy-free mayonnaise and then lemon juice and seasonings, and a little bit of vinegar. It's delicious. I also get my purple and blue from blueberries, and I buy them frozen because when the skin has been frozen, it breaks down so that you get more of its phytonutrients, so it's a win-win. So you can get your purple and blue family in, and that's where you get your vivesterol, which when I get what's called a flare because of my autoimmune disease, I will take a product that is loaded with vivesterol because that helps me bring down my inflammation faster than anything. I also take curcumin and quercetin to bring down inflammation. The blue family protects your cells from damage. So you want to be eating blues so you protect your skin cells from damage and you protect your other cells from damage. And they also fight cancer, so what's not to love about them? Blue and purple vegetables and fruits promote youthful skin. Another good reason to be eating them. White vegetables, onions, leeks, shallots, white cabbage, white nectarines, white peaches, white pears, parsnips, mushrooms, green onions, ginger, cauliflower, Belgium endive, bananas, all of those are considered prebiotics. And you want to be eating prebiotics because they feed your probiotics in your gut. So to keep your gut bacteria, that is healthy gut bacteria, healthy, you need to be feeding them, and the white category does that. But they're also very powerful antioxidants, and they reduce inflammation. So again, when they reduce inflammation, they're reducing any kind of skin disease or inflammation that's showing up there. And remember to keep using all of your seasonings. Seasonings add a whole new level of complexity when you're cooking and making food, and they all have gifts in them as well. So whether it's oregano or peppermint or cinnamon or cilantro, they all have gifts. So don't be afraid to make your meals more complex by using all your spices and your seasonings. Chocolate, believe it or not, if it's 70% or higher, and it's not a GMO sugar that's in it, chocolate is an antioxidant. It's actually quite good for you. So yes, you can still eat your chocolate. It just can't be milk chocolate, and it needs to be a high dark chocolate. Okay, I want to stop for a minute and talk about a couple of products I use for my skin creams and my skin products. I use a company called Keys Pure. This is my face cream. I use it because it has an SPF 30 in it, but on the EWG scale, it's a 1. She got skin cancer and everything was bothering her. Her husband was a big tech executive in Silicon Valley. They both quit their jobs and created this amazing low toxin line that is everything from skin moisturizer to shampoo to conditioners to bug spray to a spray for first aid if you get a deep scratch or you need some healing. Their first aid spray is fantastic. They're all very low in toxins and they're really marvelous products. And what I use instead of petroleum jelly is they've made an entire line of avocado oils and creams. So this is their Avogen. I use it instead of petroleum jelly. It's great because it doesn't block my skin. Everything can still go in and out, and it's not adding any toxins to my body. For my body, for an SPF, I'm using Pacifica. It's also an SPF 30, and this is also a 1 on the toxin scale in EWG. Hawaii has actually banned a lot of sun products because it was killing all the sea life. And so you aren't allowed to go to the beach and use a toxic skin product. So this is a perfect way to take care of yourself from the sun, not harm your skin, and not be harming the rest of the environment. So before you use any sun care product, make sure you look it up or run it through one of those 2 apps. I'm coming close to an hour and I haven't talked very much about weight loss, but I do want to comment just on a couple of things. If your whole life you've been dieting and you do your last supper the night before you start it, and then you give everything up and you feel deprived throughout the entire diet, and then you come out the other end and immediately start eating all the old foods again, so you gain back all that weight and you gain back more, you're approaching it wrong. Eat for health. Don't eat to lose weight, eat to be healthy. And how do you eat to be healthy? You eat to be healthy by eating all the colors of the rainbow, by eating healthy meat, who eats his own specific diet and who's not being given a lot of synthetic things when he's being grown. You don't want him eating GMO feed. You don't want him having a lot of fake hormones put into him. You want to eat quality food. Food quality will make all the difference. My husband lost 80 pounds eating this way, and although I'm not all the way down, I have lost 50. I got molded in my office, which stopped me from losing weight, but all of a sudden I'm losing weight again because I never stopped eating healthy. So approach your weight loss this new year differently. Don't give up everything so that you can count calories. Give up all the toxins so that you can be healthy. It's a new mindset. It's a new direction. It's a new way to approach your weight. And trust me, you're going to eat this way for the rest of your life. And when you get used to the taste of real food and you're cooking and you're eating yummy things that are with real ingredients, your body's going to celebrate. You're going to feel so good, you're never going to want to go back. So it's much more easily sustainable to lose weight my way than to lose weight all those other ways. You're never going to buy another diet book because you're going to just make sure you're eating mostly fruits and vegetables and then clean meat. And meat, you only want to eat as much as a deck of cards. That's how you can afford it. It does cost more to eat clean, to buy clean meat and make it, but you take care of that by not eating so much of it. You don't need tons of it. So what you put into your body is really important for what weight you're at, how your skin looks, and what your beauty is. So remember, beauty is always an inside job. Stay away from the toxins. They're not doing you any good. And I don't know about you, but I want to grow old and keep my brain and be healthy to the end. So that's my whole show for today. Thank you very much. All of this is in my first or my second book, both the Eating the Rainbow and the Cooking and the Skin is an Inside Job. All of that is in my second book. And I have a blog on weight loss on my website. So if you want to go over all of that and take a new direction, you can do it that way. Okay, thank you very much. Happy New Year. If you're going to make any resolutions, this is a much better way to go because you're making a resolution to be healthy for the rest of your life. Thank you.